All right. Unfortunately, I can't get far enough away from this thing hardly to show you exactly what I want to, but I think I've got it very nearly in its final position. It may yet eventually scoot closer to that wall back there, but I've got just enough room as it stands right now for a full rearward travel of the bed. And this is the side. It might eventually in the future I might delete all these shelves here on the left and scooch this thing over that way closer to the wall yet. And I've still got it on the rollers so that I can tweak it a little bit more, but unless I take out that set of shelves, which that's possible in the future, but unless I take out that set of shelves, it's not going to go any further that way. I've rigged up another temporary, a little bit better, a little less cheesy than the previous assembly, so that I can just crudely move the table. I've been having a heck of a time trying to find decent, inexpensive belts for the thing. I found a set of 3 serpentine belts that I liked the sizes of on Amazon that were cheap, but unfortunately I suspect they're coming from China, and God only knows what year or century they may show up. So now I'm back to this leather belt, trying to, get enough friction, get enough traction on it to, just kind of test this out. But anyways, oh, and I brought over the other Logan lathe bed so that I can start to not do any test cutting, but to start doing test measurements and start seeing what it will take to set up a lathe bed on this thing. Oh, and the other issue I'm having is trying to find even decent 3-phase motors at the moment. There was one guy on Marketplace that had some motors, but I don't know if anybody else is having the same problem, but it seems like anybody on Marketplace these days kind of has their heads pretty well up their asses at the moment. So at any rate, trying to get a hold of even 3-phase motors has been a pain in the butt lately. So anyways, I'm just going to make do with this 1 horsepower single phase for the time being and just kind of try to fine tune the drive mechanism on it, get the speed the way I want it, get the pulleys situated the way I want them, try to determine whether or not I'm going to go flat belt or if I'm eventually going to switch over to V belts and swap out this flat pulley here on the machine for a V belt pulley. So we'll see. Anyways, I figure in the meantime, I'm going to take a couple minutes and enjoy my little progress on this. Little victories. That's the name of the game right now. And I also put a slightly smaller pulley on the drive motor so that I could slow the movement of this thing down a little bit. And so far, I'm pretty happy with that. All right. Definitely a step in the right direction. I got better traction. I've got a better grip on the belt here. I've got, after I got away from the crummy piece of plywood or OSB that I was using for my previous mount, these green pieces of steel are the original mount that was up on top of the machine. So They got plenty of weight to them, so they're kind of holding the whole thing down. Plus I got a jack up underneath here, jacking off of the underside of the planer itself. But it's just kind of hard to resist the opportunity to run this bed back and forth a little bit. Oh, and one other thing is, I kind of cobbled myself together a cheesy cover that I can put over the bed, the V-ways, when this thing is not in use, so I don't have to worry so much about debris. Just a piece of cardboard, but anything to keep the sawdust and any other metal chips out of the V-ways is going to make me feel a whole lot better about this. Anyways, enough chit chat. Let's move this thing back and forth a few more times just for fun. There's just something satisfying about it. It's kind of like watching fish swim in an aquarium. And one more time. I don't know, I'm pretty happy about that, that's for sure. Alright, so one of the other things I have to sort out the rest of the way is trying to source the electrical devices to make this operate, hopefully, relatively automatically. But to do that, I'm going to have to do it the way I want to do it, I'm going to have to come up with some inexpensive on delay or off delay timers. I haven't quite sorted that one out yet. But anyways, some delay timers, probably a couple of contactors, and then if I go 3-phase, I'm going to want, an actual motor starter so I can get some sort of, thermal overload protection and whatnot. But eventually the idea is going to be to set this up like, there's a guy over in Europe that's got one that's been done with purely electrical controls. He did a really, really nice setup on it. And that's the direction I think I'm going to go, because I don't want to have some big nasty piece of steel hanging off the top of the machine, like right there. I really want the thing to look as unmolested as possible. And if I can keep the flat belt pulley, I would like to do that. But anything to keep the nasty stuff off the top of it. That stuff absolutely drives me bonkers. I get it, when you're talking about being in a production shop, machines don't have to be pretty, they just have to make money. That's not the case here. I want this thing to look the way it was intended to look, from the factory as much as possible. Obviously, with me not having a jack shaft system in the garage, it's never going to look right. But the best I want to get it the closest I can. So some modern electrical controls, the right electric motor, and some creative wiring, and I should have something pretty nice set up to where I can mount me some limit switches on this V channel here, and I can move them in or out as needed to trip and reverse direction electrically. So every once in a great while I'll stumble onto some inexpensive quality stuff like some Square D equipment or Cutler Hammer stuff on Marketplace, but it's hit or miss. Anytime I find, reversing starters of any decent size, they want an arm and a leg for them because, well, they cost a small fortune new. So the used market, they're going to get, as much as they can out of them also. But the other thing is I'll keep my eye peeled out at Century for big electrical cabinets that come in with controls still in them, that sort of thing. But one way or another, heck, for that matter, even if I have to make the electrical components myself, so be it. I'll do it. But given enough time, I should be able to source motor controls that will do what I need them to do. So anyways, I just thought I would kind of give you guys a little bit of an update on this. So I will catch you later.